This podcast is made for fun and is not subsidized. Hi everyone, welcome to Rita Talks Fantasy and Sci-Fi. I'm your host Rita, and today we're talking about Power Rangers the movie from 2017 with Spoon2006. A group of high school students who are infused with unique superpowers harnessed their abilities in order to save the world. Those high school outcasts stumble upon an old alien ship where they acquire superpowers and are dubbed the Power Rangers. Learning that an old enemy of the previous generation has returned to accept vengeance, the group must harness their powers and use them to work together and save the world. So this time we do things a little different. Me and my fiancé Spoon2006 watched this Power Rangers movie from 2017. We love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series and we compare it a lot with in this movie. So this is what we had to say about it. Well, hi everyone. Today we are talking about the Saban's Power Rangers movie 2017. As you know, me and my fiancé are quite a Power Rangers fan, but we didn't see this movie yet till yesterday. It's a quite different one story we know of Power Rangers, and especially because also Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is one of our favorite. And this is really also a little pre-story of Zordon, how Zordon was and became. And we see in the first part of the movie that Zordon is this alien who was crashed on our planet Earth very much many years before, and he was the Red Ranger. And Rita Repulsa was the Green Ranger. So when you see that moment, you could already think about yourself, okay, why was Rita the Green Ranger, and is that why Tommy became at first the bad Green Ranger? I must say, Rita is looking very, very different than the TV series, and is even, well, the TV series we know her as this hysterical, bad, evil Rita Repulsa. This one is very, how can I say it, hard and powerful in the way of she really works for what she wants. And later on in the movie you see that she's building Goldar, and we all know Goldar as that flying talking monkey. As in the first movie, as in this movie, you could see it's totally different Goldar than in the series. And in one way it's weird because we don't know it like that. And although I must say that Rita's stuff, I like that one. I like that better one than in the series. The series is just too big, too huge, and too obvious. And this one was one very suits her. So the next scene is that we see Jason bringing a cow into the school and being a prankster and running from the cops, etc., etc. And he got a very bad accident. And in the beginning I didn't like him because he was so full of himself. And then he got, for that prank, he got detention all his remaining school time. And that's where he met the other Rangers, and in particularly Billy. Well, Billy in this movie is a Afro-American, and Billy is a big crush pilot because he is so clumsy in the beginning that it's just almost funny. And yeah, it's just Billy, and Jason stood up for him. And
he didn't just stick up for him, he slapped him.
True, that was funny. And also
I made him look about the size of a chihuahua.
Yeah. Yeah. In that case, but also that scene reminds me of that one episode in, what was that one? Was that the Mystique? I can't remember, but there was one that the Red Ranger was stood up for to a bully, and that reminds me of it. I can't remember what series it was. But okay, the other Rangers, and I must say the other characters of the Rangers are very different than the series. For example, Kimberly. We know Kimberly as that sweet little girl who needs Tommy's protection, etc., etc. But in this movie, she is a kind of rebel, and she's kicking ass more than even Jason, the leader, is doing. So, and also like Trini was more vocal than she used to be in this movie. It was, yes, she was a rebel too. She did what she wants, but at the end she made friends with the Rangers. Well, we talked about Billy a little bit. Billy is in the beginning he was a really crush pilot, but still a genius. I must say, in this movie there is a lot of comedy. I really loved that. For example, when Billy went to that mining site and just in honoring of his dad, and he wants to blow up that piece part of mine, and he forgot a thread to connect with the device. And he said, okay, why didn't it blow up? Oh, thread. So he put that, instead of turning off the device, he let it on. And as soon as he connected the thread with the device, that damn thing explode with it. Billy with it. So in one way it was very funny, but after that, not even that, because they just had that crash with the train accident, and that was the moment that they were protected by the Power Rangers power, or like they said, the Zeo crystals. And that makes a little bit of confusing, because there was a Zeo Rangers series, but I think this is even more pre-Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But it's the great thing of this movie is that they're showing you how the Power Morphin grid works. And I say this because I'm not really a Comic-Con reader or comic reader, and I'm not really I don't play the Power Rangers game, so I only base my fandom a little bit on the collection we collect and the series, which I love. We were that crazy that we have seen all the series in timeline after each other. So that was a big major thing.
I don't know if it's before or the way it was set out. It's definitely before, with the history. At the end of the film, without saying too much, It's almost like it was staged after.
That's the confusing thing, because that's the difference between Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and this movie, is that they morph in the power grid, and we know only using the coins. And that was another confusing thing as well. Rita was looking for the Xeon crystals, but we don't see the Xeon crystals in this movie. They talk about it, and they say, well, if you are connected, you can morph. And they morph without the morphers from, for example, Mighty Morphin. So they only have coin. And so I don't know if this is really before Mighty Morphin or just between Mighty Morphin and Zeo. So they find the coins in just frozen ice, and frozen ice is the wrong word. It's more like a combination of frozen ice and in the mining ground.
It wasn't ice, it was like crystalline type stuff, wasn't it? I don't know. Weird.
Well, weird is maybe the wrong word, but okay. The only thing one we don't talk about yet is Zax. And I must say, Zax is a very daredevil. And although he has a sad background because his mom is ill and he is the only one who... He doesn't go to school. He does go to Angel Grove, but does a lot of other things and just hopefully take care of his mom.
It was like the complete opposite to the original series and the original Mighty Morphin movie.
Yeah, and I think after watching it 2 times, I'm liking it more than I thought I would do.
Instead of having 5 teenagers that were the pinnacle of the school,
or happily teenagers, normal teenagers.
But they were Mighty Morphin. It was high grades, popular, did everything good.
But they were the outcasts.
And these were the complete opposites to it. It was detention, Jason with the cow. I have no idea what Billy had done.
Billy blowed up his lunchbox.
Oh yes, that was funny. Yes.
There's so much humor in this, and you don't need Bond School for it to get a humorized.
Yeah, Kimberly, which
she was a badass, but also, and that's what I think was really weird in a sense, because you think, okay, Kimberly is badass as a rebel, and she really took the lead in some things that you were thinking, okay, Kimberly is the leader, but Jason, the Red Ranger, was the leader.
In a sense, yeah, but I thought in that final fight, she was definitely leading.
I think till a point, but I think that's because she has that attitude, and because she was in the air, she could see the whole battlefield. And the ones on the ground couldn't. And now we're talking about the last battle, and actually we don't have to do that, but okay. You could really see the new Zords.
They were realistic in a sense. However, I'm a Mighty Morphin fanboy, whatever you want to call it. The classics always are nostalgic, but I will say they did a good job.
They did a good job.
Ish.
That's what my point is. But I think it suits maybe in the thinking of what the movies already are and what there's always been in there. Look, for example, to Goldar.
That was not the Goldar we know, love and hate.
Like I said, a flying talking monkey, that wasn't it.
No, it wasn't. It was just like it was kind of a cross between Lost in Space, the modern version, with all the visual effects, with the face, as you could see, like that glowing Lost, and the glow, red and blue and whatever else. There was no sense of humour from him or quick-witted lines. He was just silent.
Yeah.
And that was not the Goldar we like.
No, yeah. Goldar was like all melted gold. Yeah.
And that was it.
And that was it. And all the putties.
What? They weren't clay, they were stone.
Putties were so ugly. And if you know the putties from the series, this was so totally different.
It was like a Fantastic Four, the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, because they also took garbage and etc. with it. But okay, that was. If I'm coming back to the real storyline, we are now that the Rangers have that train crash, and they wake up with all the big powers of the Power Rangers. The coins saved them.
You don't see that in Mighty Morphin, though.
No.
And this isn't a comparison, but
it reminds me at Spider-Man.
Yes, 100%.
They are, and that's, and now I'm going to say, there was so much Easter eggs that you remind of other movies or series, like for example the Zords. If you see the megazord is really like Tron, Transformers, a little bit of Gun Wing, and what was the other one what we had?
It was Pacific Rim, and
Pacific
there was also
Rim.
something else as well that I was Lost in Space, but something else has come to mind as well with it, and it was...
Yeah, you see that through the whole film, and I like that in a way because it is in one way familiar.
Thor. Marvel Thor film, and it was that beast, that one with the fire. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen
the very first one, and that's what the Goldar reminded me of in that one.
The Rangers have that collision with the train, then they wake up with those superpowers. But meanwhile, Sam's father...
I'm thinking of Billy Cranston at the moment.
Oh dear. You mean the big blowout?
No.
What?
Not
with the door! With his door!
No, even better. With the bully.
Oh, the bully! I forgot that!
Yes!
Oh my god, that was so really funny. And he was so, how can this be? I can't be this strong.
The bully tried to break his wrist. And then he tried to headbutt Billy. And in the process of headbutting Billy...
That was the scene that reminds me from Star Trek with Data and that Klingon.
Yes, thank you for that. And then the bully gets knocked out clean. And then when Kimberly goes up to Billy in the mess hall, whatever, everyone's like, she's talking to him?
He was the talk of the whole school, I guess, yeah. That Billy, the weakling, has encountered the bully and just kicked his ass. That was really funny. But what I was saying, meanwhile, Scott's father is a fisherman. And they were fishing and the sea went rough. And that was the point that they want to go back to the harbor. And in the fishing nets, Scott's father found Rita. And so she wasn't alive or whatever yet. And that was a real... she's not mother's finest, but you could see it's Rita. And but I also noticed that the Power Rangers already wear those colors of the Power Rangers itself, which color Power Ranger they are. That was really funny because that reminds us also back to the series. There was, after Jason, Kimberly and Billy met in the cafeteria, they say we need to find the other two, Trini and Zax, to join us and figure out what the hell this is. Well, they found Zack's exploiting and getting more out of the mine, and well, Trini was there too, and they went to chase her, and then she made a very, very far and high jump over a cliff that only sense of Spider-Man could do, or of course Superman. And they jumped after them, and Billy was the last one. He had no confidence and said, but okay, he will give it a try because he got superpowers. So Billy jumped, and he just managed to get over it. So he was celebrating that he went and jumped over, and he lost his balance and he fell in the refrain, and everyone thought he was die, but there was a kind of a cave, and that cave was the entrance of the command center and command ship of Zordon. And well, they fell, they jumped all in this cliff, and they ended up in a pool. And when they touched the pool, they were glowing up in the color of their Power Rangers. And so Billy went a little bit further than that, and he managed to find the entrance of the command center. And it was really, really like an alien ship on the ground.
It reminds me of Alien, and it also reminds me
Lost in
of
Space.
what was that film? That really old film that kid who travels, The Aviator.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
I have seen The Aviator, but then it was with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I don't think you mean that one.
No, it's the original one with all the shiny stuff in, and when he gets the seat and that. Oh, it reminds me of that.
It does remind me also, and this sounds weird, as an Undine ship from Star Trek. It's not biological, but the whole form, and eventually where Zordon is going. Normally you see Zordon in that glass thingy, but now it was like there was a artist who made those, and there in that wall is Zordon.
It was the whole theme of the ship reminded me of the Terminator films, with the shiny walls, the floors, and they've taken so much from so many films, so many little ideas. Yeah.
It's very noticeable. But then they're gonna meet Alpha 5, which is one of my favorite characters at the Mighty Morphin. They pimped up Alpha.
He slapped Billy.
And others. But he is so funny. But they really, really pimped up him. And I really liked it. But I think he's also more funny than the original. And to come back on that, right, we know the I from Alpha, like I. Well, the Alpha from here was I. Very low, and I was thinking, that is not the Alpha. That's not the Alpha we know.
He was pimp.
But I really adore Alpha. Alpha is not only the connection between Zordon and the Power Rangers, but he is the one who has to teach literally the Power Rangers how to fight.
That was the funny thing. The pit.
Yeah, the pit. And also, that reminded me of so much battles from so many different movies and series that I was thinking, okay. But okay. They trained without the Morphin suit already.
They had the powers, but without the armor, as Alpha put it. And Zordon put it. But Zordon, I hate to say it, I didn't like him.
No.
Not at the start.
No, me neither. But I must say, if this is the pre-story from the Mighty Morphin, I can imagine why Zordon is like that. Because Zordon used to be, of course, his own alien body, his own alien self, and he has to be that. But Alpha managed to keep his conscience in the computer. And Zordon is failing of the Power Rangers, and he thinks that the Power Rangers are not worthy enough to be Power Rangers. So in one way, I can imagine Zordon changed because at the moment that Rita had kidnapped all the Rangers and killed Billy, then the other Rangers came together. And then the power grid opened. So there were two options. Or Billy when it came back to life, or Zordon came back to life. And that was the moment that Zordon accepted his fate to be like kind of mentor and guide the Rangers in what they had to do. Which we come back, of course, now again to Rita. Rita was...
She reminded me of Loki.
That's because she were green and gold.
It wasn't that. It was the whole attitude of her. It was completely different. It was like, I've got superpowers, I'm just going to take over and get the crystal.
And there were no, I got such a headache!
Ah, they should have put that in. Sorry, that should have gone in. That was the Mighty Morphin classic.
Yeah, it was. But that's what exactly with the III of Alpha. If I didn't see it, in the first time I didn't hear it or see it. The second time I did. And I went, I listened it back for the 3 or 4 times. I even recorded. And I was saying, that is so not Alpha. That is so not Alpha. But okay, that's the decisions they made. And I think we as fan is just, yeah, it's not what we know of. So then of course there is a moment. Oh,
we skipped ahead quite a bit.
Yeah. Of course, when they started to train with Zordon and Alpha, they at a point the Rangers were very frustrated, and also Zordon. And Zordon showed them what really happened and what the future will be if Rita wins. And so Zordon sent the kids home, but they stayed close, and Jason went talking to Zordon. And Zordon told Jason, you are the Red Ranger, you are the leader, so do your job. In the next moment, we see that Rita was getting up, but also killed people to get gold, so she could regenerate. And she ended up in a jewelry store, and she burglarized the store in the way of, she took all the gold, and she even fights the police over it, and so she could generate more than ever. At a point when the Rangers trained without their armor, Alpha wanted to cheer them up. So he showed them their zords, and the Rangers were very excited about it, especially Billy. Billy was right on, oh wow! And that was their boost to train harder. But Zax, the damn daredevil, without armor, he went and tried his Zords out, and that was completely out of order. But also really stupid, because that sword went out of the wild. So it's the same source they have in Mighty Morphin. So Kimberly have the crane.
No, you're thinking the wrong one. It was
The ninja.
You're thinking ninja.
It was the ninja.
Pterodactyl, Mastodon, Triceratops, a form of saber-toothed tiger, if you can call it that, and Tyrannosaurus.
I thought the wolf as well.
No.
Billy had the wolf.
No,
Oh no, that's why Triceratops. Yeah. So that was a complete disaster. And they knew now that they had to have their armor to connect with Zords and to have the Zord's power. Jason and Zax, they had a fight. Even the girls were out of it, and it was Billy who came between them and said, stop fighting, we're friends, we are in one of this all. And that was the moment that Billy was the first one who actually morphed. I do like, in a way, those Morphin suits, to be honest.
They were good. I think they had more budget this time to do it with, so there was a lot more special effects.
I think also saw a lot more computer work.
Oh yeah, but we're going back to 90s when the original, to now. It's not the spandex suits as they had then. It was like, it looked like rubber, didn't it, almost?
I don't know, yeah, more maybe, no. It's still spandex, but more in combination with
everything else.
Rubber motor clothes, if I can say it like that.
Could have been leather, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, it was really... I think they used even LED lights to light it up.
That's what reminds you of Tron and some of the others with all those... Like the chests glow, didn't they? And when the helmets are on, it's like glow in the screen and the visors.
Yeah, and that was the wrong thing, I guess. And that's the stupid Daredevil sex again. He touched Billy and Billy immediately demorphed. And then they pushing him to morph again, but Billy didn't know how to. So, and then Zordon was also disappointed and even a little sarcastic to say, yeah, he just morphed, but can you morph as well? And this is no point, and etc, etc, etc. Zordon was very, very frustrated that he couldn't get out of the wall.
I think he felt helpless and annoyed, didn't he?
But also, I think, angry and scared in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, weird in that sense. The Zordon we know was a very caring, compassionate mentor, as this time he was very, I don't know.
Well, I do think, like I said before, if this is a preview before what happened to the Mighty Morphin, I can imagine that because they don't understand how serious this is.
Oh my god, I've just realised. You remember the episode, I think it was season 3, when they went back in time, and it was Rocky, Aisha and all that, but when the Green Ranger got left in the past with the big rat, yes, Wizard of Deception, we saw 2 certain people at the end of the film. I am wondering now if going as far back as it might have been further than what we thought and what the film portrays, are they ancestors? I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
It's like Star Trek Prime Universe and Calvin Universe. It's like a complete flip across. It's very difficult to... They're good changes in one way, but they're also different.
Well, the next scene was, well, Rita got all the gold, but Rita next went to visit Trini in her sleep. And Rita wanted that Trini joined her in her thing, and it was a little fight. Rita let her go, and Trini notified the other rangers what happened. And once again, Zordon said, "You are not ready. You need to morph." Then they went to the marina because Billy had find out where the crystals are. So
the dead ship, wasn't it, as they called it?
Yeah, and they went to the marina, and that's, I didn't know if you noticed that, but before they really entered that part of the marina, they get weapons what essentially would be their Power Ranger weapons.
I didn't see that, but it was like a scene out of yeah.
That's the way of watching it multiple times. Then you see it, and of course, the movie on the computer was a little more than on a TV, of course, of us, because we got an old TV. But that means that the Power Rangers visit Rita, and Rita was fighting them, and you could see that they were not ready with it, and they Rita had captured them in like fish nets, and she tortured them in a way, but she knew that one of the rangers know where the Zeo Crystal was, and talking about the Zeo Crystal in the series is very small. This one is so big that it is like a cluster of crystals. So they were captured, and she asked Billy where the hell are the Zeo Crystal, and if you don't say it in 1 minute, I will torture your friends to that, and we will see when or whatever I will find the crystals. You will be the last one who to die. And well, she started with Zax, and within a second, Billy gave in and told her where the crystal could be found. So they wanted to get out of those nets, but couldn't, and Rita said also, we in one of the phrases of you are not alone to fight me, and I will let you go. And she threw Billy into the water, so Billy drowned, and the other rangers pulled him up. And that was the weirdest thing I was thinking. If somebody has been drowning, you apply CPR.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. That was the really bad thing I think that they could do. So they carried Billy to the command center, and they asked Zordon to do something about it. And Zordon couldn't, and that was the first time the team really come together. And in one way, I must say, Rita is really psycho in this move. Really, she is. So when Billy died and the Power Rangers came together, the Morphin grid opened.
It's when they got back to the ship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They carried Billy back to the ship.
And so the grid opened, so Alpha was really excited. Oh, Zordon, this is your chance. You can go through the grid now. You can be Zordon again. And you saw Zordon disappeared, and then there was nothing. And then he came in full fall back in the wall again. Alpha was like, Zordon, what happened? You could go through this. This was your only chance. Zordon said that was the moment Zordon became a mentor and accepted his fate in the wall. He said, there is only one of us who could come back. And at that point, Billy became alive again.
Yeah, and Zordon said in that point, there can only be one Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Which, again, reminds me of another film. There can be only one. Highlander.
I was thinking in that episode when they went back to the Wild Wild West, and there was a White Ranger, and also of course the other episodes between White and Green Ranger.
Yes.
And thinking about that now, and I think I have mentioned already, Rita was the Green Ranger, so maybe that is also why Tommy the Green Ranger was firstly bad and ended up his...
Yeah, it was funny though, the green power coin though in this film was the item that was powering her staff.
But that was also with Tommy the Green Ranger. The coin.
Yeah.
Only the coin went empty dead.
Well, in, I don't know what you call it, Prime Cannon, or the coin was created by Ninja, which Rita got hold of, and then the rest of the power coins they said they found in the desert of despair.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound right then.
Which is what the Prime was. As this one, they said, no idea where they found the coins, so it could have been before Ninjas, but we never found out how Rita got hold of the power coin in the first place.
Because Rita was the Green Ranger.
Yeah, now we do.
Yeah.
They're not like them little chocolate treats you can eat.
I have to find a mold for that then.
Kinder? Yeah.
So if we go further with it, they used, for the first time, it's Morphin time. And that was not the Morphin time as how we used to in Mighty Morphin. It's not like, it's Morphin time! No, it's Morphin time. And that was a real disappointment for me. And also that when they played Go-Go Power Rangers, the intro team, that was a lot later in the movie when they put when they went to with the swords.
Yeah.
So.
But they didn't teleport, did they? No teleportation whatsoever.
No, and that's what the strange things also was. They could morph because of the power coin and the Power Rangers power they got via the power grid. But they hadn't those morphin thingies. What?
There's no belt, was there, with the morphers on? It was nothing.
No, the only symbol that's come back in like the morphing coin is when they put all the swords together to the megazords, and those
Cockpits.
Yeah. Were just the coins, and in the series you see one cockpit for all, and
that would have been a nice climax if they'd have done that in the film, but they didn't.
Yeah, but okay. Talking about a little bit of the megazord, tell me what you like, what you not like.
Without breaking too much into the film and too many spoilers, when they do find the crystal, as they say, which you don't get to see, which is somewhat annoying.
And what? Yeah.
It's the Zords go down into the hole, into the pit where the Zeo crystal is, but they come out and you can tell, you can just start to see it in the light. It's starting to come together. There's something happening. All of a sudden, this honking Zord just comes out, and you just see this thing stood there like out of Pacific Rim. The I can't remember, the Gypsy, I think it was, version of it. And you see on the cockpits, the shoulders are forming and that, and between the TV and her monitor, it was you couldn't see the colours on TV, it was very grey, but your monitor did bring the colours out quite nice. And the first thing I said was, it would have been better if they had the smoke, and they had this sword crawling out, and you just saw the silhouette of the massive horns on the head of the Megazord. Nothing. Not even that. It wasn't the square shoulders, it was very rounded. You could not identify what Zord was what, like you could in the series. It was just not what we know. It was like cross between Guns and Wings, Pacific Rim, yeah, Transformers.
And you said about the robot from Lost in Space.
Yeah, it was that glow in the chest.
And also kind of the face.
In the face, yeah.
The Megazord had horns, but so small that it wasn't suitable for it. It has to be bigger in that, I think. I think that's why.
There just wasn't the nostalgia there with it that there should have been with that Zord. Yes, it had to be different, but I think they could have done something a little bit better with it.
And not only that, it's yeah, like you said, there had to be more color, more clearable with the swords are and recognizable. And in one way, I could say that's why when we watched on TV, I couldn't see it as a lot of the swords. So when we watched it back on the PC monitor, it was a lot better. But still, it is not even the Megazord in the first movie from the Mighty Morphin is better than this one.
It was shocking. Sorry, it was shocking. I thought the Zord was good. I don't know how much further we can go. Sure. It's like in the pit, they're practicing the backflip wrestle move, aren't they?
Yeah, that is one thing that Alpha taught them. But what I still wanted to say was that when they tried the first attempt with the Megazord to even walk, that filled misery, and it was so funny to see that they failed at that first. They have to find out what Zord was the part of the Megazord, and I think that they had to make that clearer in what was. But it was funny to see how they miserably failed the first time, and then they had to wrestle with Rita, who became one with Goldar, what was very weird, but okay. And that action in the pit, what Alpha taught them, the first time I saw that, I totally said right away, that is a wrestle move. So doing that actually with the Megazord, in one way it was nice to see, but on the other hand it was weird because it's so humanized. But that was also the moment that they had to work together, and till then it wasn't like that, and they were becoming more and more one as each other in a way. I do think that battle without the Megazord, but also with as the Megazord, were good ones. And at the end, when they are going to kill, Rita / Goldar, they used Kim's sword as the sword of the Megazord. And you didn't have that in the Mighty Morphin series. What also was strange, and I said that for a couple of times when we were watching it, why did Jason brought his own red sword back to Zordon? Because in the whole movie, they never shown us the sword of Jason.
It was in there. Do you remember when they were fighting the putties? When Jason runs out, he's got the suit on, and he extends his arm out, and the sword is part of the suit.
Yeah. So there is one thing that we can close with, and that's the cameo of Kimberly, the real Kimberly from Mighty Morphin and Tommy.
He's always in it.
He did it again, Dad. He did it again.
They did it again.
But what I did like is that they showed them, and they were making pictures with the phone of the megazord, and it's a real good picture of the megazord. The totally end is that they have a reference to Tommy the Green Ranger, and you saw a baseball jacket
In green.
in green. So
Is that detention room is like Ernie's?
I start to think about that. Because we didn't see Ernie's youth center of Angel Grove's youth center.
No. We just see a detention room.
But the detention room is the center of the... But that is also because they were nobodies and they were up to no good every time.
And there's 2 people missing in this, which... It would have been entertaining if they were the... Stars of the Skull. Bulk and Skull. That would have just finished it off.
Yeah, but I think there was already so much comedy in it.
There was a lot of comedy in it.
There was a lot of comedy. And what... You have to think about this as well then. What would Bull and Skull add or make the movie better if they were in it?
Skull's laugh.
Think of mind that then they have to
The bullying Bulk and Skull.
There's one thing I also missed, and that was the milkshakes. The milkshakes that's always flying over Bull and Skull.
Exactly.
But okay, that was really a moment that I also thought, yeah, Tommy and Kimberly. And when you said maybe it's like an ancestor thing or whatever, who knows? And with they bringing up Tommy the Green Ranger, there has to be a following up movie then as well.
There was. They were planning on it, but because of the new release they're coming out with, they shelved it. Which is a shame because I think the following watch would have been quite
that
good.
That would be quite good, yeah. But okay.
Would have been good to see Alpha and that again in that version because I thought they were quite entertaining.
Well, Alpha was entertaining, but I don't know where I saw that. Or it was fan made, I can't remember. But they made Alpha Mexican. And that was so funny. He was saying, Arriba, 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 you comprende. So,
oh my god.
I think maybe it is fan based. I have to find it and look it up. But okay, thank you for listening again. I see you next time. If you like this podcast, you can like and subscribe on all the platforms. You can also follow and comment on Podbean, Spotify and Google Podcast. On social media, the Facebook group, the Discord server, a YouTube channel of Arena Talks Fantasy and Sci-Fi, and on Twitter at OTFASP. Let me know what you think of this episode. In the next episode, we will talk about Pokemon. I am Orinda, and thank you for listening to Orinda Talks Fantasy and Sci-Fi. See you next time.